Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, rather, to the August 28th, 2012 meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority. May we have the roll call, please?
Authority members: Friedman.
Here.
Nukian.
Here.
Lindsay.
Here.
Razian.
Here.
Caro.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chair Najarian.
Here. May we have your report?
The agenda for the August 28, 2012 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, August 23, 2012 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. The next item?
Next item is approval of minutes.
I move the approval. However, in fact, for August 21st and the 14th, we were all present on the 21st. I understand Mr. Manukian was not here on the 14th.
I refuse. I was here, and I remember clearly that I was here.
Getting old.
No, it's Manukian saying that, not me.
Now second it. Second.
Typically, when there's a challenge to the minutes, we have we call for a vote, but I think Mr. Manukian's pulling our legs. So, with that noted abstention from the minutes of the 14th? 14th of Mr. Manukian, the minutes will be approved as submitted. Next item, please.
Next item is oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the Housing Authority may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision, and the matter may be referred to staff through the Executive Director for investigation and report.
I have one card from Herbert Milano.
Housing Authority Chair Najarian, members of the Housing Authority and staff, my name is Herbert Milano. It was over 10 years ago that when I started my advocacy of putting our emphasis on the status of youth and families at risk in Glendale, 10 years. So I began to wonder that if we had had programs to intercede on behalf of children at risk, how many of those kids who may have been 4 years old at the time would not have joined a gang or would not be in trouble today at the age of 14 or 15? During the same period of time, the city of Glendale managed to approve pay and pension increases above the rate of inflation for fire, police, and managers to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars above the rate of inflation. So I asked myself, how are the children better off? How is our quality of life better off after all of that additional expense? You see, we don't measure our quality of life on a regular basis. We don't measure the status of youth in Glendale on a regular basis. And we have a significant number of families and kids at risk. At Glendale High School, which is not too far from here, 50% of the students, as of my last check 2 years ago, receive either free or assisted lunches. That means that there is a significant proportion of the population, especially in South Glendale, of families who are undertaking a significant setback financially and whose children do not have the resources or the facilities or the programs to prevent them from getting into trouble, or even better, to allow them to take opportunities that they perhaps should have, because for a long time the city has been quite wealthy vis-a-vis many cities in Southern California. So are our children better off? We don't know. We don't know because we don't measure these things that are so essential. And I think there is nothing more critical and the real purpose of a city council than a measure on the quality of life. Now, I think that we need to create a new report, and it is my hope that Mr. Mincy and Ms. Parazian, you generally agree with most of the things that are being presented and approved here. But I need some advocacy, I guess, from within the Housing Authority to have the Housing Authority move forward on systematic, regular, periodic reports that tell us how we're doing socially. So today, there may be many kids, 4 or 5 years old, living in homes of families at risk. And I ask myself, would those kids 10 years from now be in a gang, or be in trouble, or being under some type of supervision by the police department? You know, I understand our financial situation today, but if we're not willing to spend $300, $400 per child per year to make sure that these kids have an opportunity to be able to have the type of programs that will intercede on their behalf, then I don't know, it makes the rest of the budget seem pretty lame by comparison if we're not able to address those issues. It was about 8 years ago, or maybe less, when my son was in high school in the football team, and I found that the larger proportion of the families that came there were represented by the wife, by the woman of the family. And the coaches were the surrogate fathers to many of these kids. And with this program that cost at the time $300 a year, every mother said that their kids were not in trouble anymore. They attended the school regularly. They somehow behaved better because they had these father figures attending to them. Imagine, $300 a year. And yet, I can take a look at some of this payroll, and basically for many employees, it has doubled during the past 10 years, to say nothing of the significant benefit increases that we've given them. And I think that the nature of a city is based and is measured on how we attend to these social issues and how we put our hearts to try to bring a solution that is justifiably the best for us financially, economically, and morally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have no other cards. Next item, please.
Next item is authority member staff comments.
Are there any comments? Okay, next item. Adjournment.
Move we adjourn. Second.
We are adjourned.